Since we got a hurricane coming down here in Florida and the weather's been all messed up, felt like this would be the perfect time to do a video to let y'all know how it goes down inside a prison when it's hurricane season. So y'all sit back, enjoy this shit. Let's get right into it. Haha, Dom the best. Finna be this way till I EOS. Take it how you want, nigga. Yeah, I'm a pro. Fuck around and bust your lot while you're at Vizzo. I hate to be this way, but I live for the moment. Waking up every day, show me an opponent. Shanks on deck, hitting bitch with locks. So much pool, I can even start you from the box. You don't wanna pay rent, got me bent. Got lax on deck, your money was well spent. Vultures on the prowl, so don't try testing. Step 2, cause violent first steps finessing. You a hold down man, suitcase this. My cell phone, I'm a charger, don't walk with a limp. Get it knocked off or missing, you gon' get it. Next time I see you ass, you gon' leave airlifted. What's up, y'all? You already know, man. Kfrogtv back in the building. Y'all go ahead and do me that solid favor. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. And also make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see it first. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. I know I ain't posted in a couple days. But man, let me tell you what. We've had horrible weather down here for the most part. Power going in and out. Internet on and off. You know what I'm saying? So I said, you know what? I need to put a video together, man, to talk about what it's like during hurricane season down here in Florida when you were locked up in prison. All right, now, of course, everybody knows when hurricanes come, certain people take that shit serious. A lot of other people might take it like it's a joke. Depending on where you're from and how it is and how bad the storms can be, some can be tragic. Some can be just a little bit of wind, you know, lightly showers and brush over and barely even hit you. Now, me, while I was locked up, I've told several times, different videos about times that I was in confinement during a specific hurricane. But I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know basically what to expect, all right? Like how they prep, how they get you ready. Are inmates safe? Are they protected just in case anything goes bad, etc.? You know what I'm saying? And my first experience ever with a hurricane was on the streets. You know, it wasn't when I was locked up, you know, but I actually went through a couple different, you know, procedures and a couple different evacuations while I was a juvenile firsthand when it came to hurricanes, okay? Now, of course, the ones on the streets weren't as bad. You know, you feel better because you have access to things. You know, you're able to be protected with your family. You know, at the time I was a kid, so, you know, I looked up to my parents, my old boy, and my family and everyone to make sure I was safe. You know, I was younger, so it was kind of like on the parents' end, you know, to make sure everybody's safe. You know, those are the things that you got to worry about when you're older, you know, like now that I'm older. The same things that my parents had to worry about and get right for the kids, I got to do now that I'm the adult. You understand? And they always make it feel better and it don't seem that bad. You know, when you're younger, you ain't really thinking of how bad and severe it can be. But you do see news clips. You do see shit broadcasting all over online about how bad it tore up this state, this city, this area. So you know it can happen. But nobody ever thinks it's going to happen to them or the area they're from or where they're at. You know what I'm saying? So people don't really take that shit that serious, especially at a young age. Now, in the program, when I was a juvenile, we evacuated to a couple different little level facilities. You know, we got transferred from Southern Glades Youth Camp, which was the level 6 I was held at the time. And one of the places we went was Sago Palm, which was like a program for inmates also, but they actually evacuated them to the detention center near them and brought us to their program. And another time we got evacuated to another place in Pahokee County. I don't remember the name of it, but during the evacuation, it was like a big process, a big procedure. You know, not only did they handcuff us to another person, you know, but they made us put a sleeping bag on. It was like a book bag with sleeping bags. We were cuffed to somebody and we got on a bunch of paddy wagons and we got, you know, transferred over there. Vizzo, of course, was canceled. They called all the family members like, yeah, y'all can't come over here, you know, because of the storm coming. We got to get everybody out of here for their safety reasons. And they brought us somewhere else because where they brought us, it wasn't expected to hit. You feel me? The whole time we were gone too, I was hoping it ripped the program up. I'm like, man, I hope when we go back, the roof on that motherfucker's missing. You know, and that's what it was. You feel me? And even though it was a bad thing, it was a serious situation. At the same time, it was kind of cool because here we get like a road trip. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're finally coming out of these gates and they're bringing us somewhere else. We got to ride for hours, even though we're all crammed up in that bitch like sardines in a can. But it was still an experience to where I'm like, man, I'll never forget that. You know, I'll never forget the closest we rode to my neighborhood, because we had to pass from down there in the Everglades, you know, which is, you know, exit 1, Florida City area. We had to pass through Broward County. So I got kind of close to my area, you know, like to where I could look off to the side of the highway, you feel me, and see, damn, look, I ain't seen near my crib in forever, you feel me, like near my area, you know. So that was like a serious thing to the officers, but to us kids, shit, we ain't give a damn. We listened to the rap music the whole way there, you know, and you can't tell us nothing, you feel me. That shit wasn't really that serious, and it didn't ruin the buildings of our institution when it did hit, you know what I'm saying. So when we landed at the other place and they put us in different rooms and stuff, it was cool to see something new, you know. It's like, picture going into a whole brand new neighborhood or a whole brand new institution or a dorm with everybody that you were already with at your last place, you know. Like, we all were just everybody from our exact program. There was no new people there. It was just all of us, you feel me. And we had to stay there until things blew over. Okay, that's how it is as far as on a juveniles level when it comes to like programs. You know, if you have anybody that's young, you know, gets into trouble and shit and they're in a program, if the hurricane happens to hit that way, that's something you can expect them to happen, you know, them being transferred to another place and held with better shelter until the storm blows over. Unless they're at a place that, you know, can fully, you know, protect them, and maybe it's got enough concrete walls and enough things to where they can hold them there. You feel me? But if not, they will most likely evacuate people. Now, as far as an adult, when it comes to going to jail and when it comes to being in prison and stuff, I never been transferred or you know, evacuated from the county jail during a hurricane. But I've been in there where we were just on straight lockdown. They didn't let none of us come out of our cell, and it was like torture, you know, because it was like, damn, here at the same time, you know, we can't control Mother Nature, you know what I'm saying? And we barely get that much time out of our rooms, out of our cells as it is. So it's like, damn, I understand, I guess, due to the storm, how severe it is, and, you know, with difficulties and shit from the electricity and power or whatever it is, you know, it's just easier for them to keep an eye out on you. It's easier for them to know, ain't nobody out here, you ain't got to expect nothing. It's less worries for the guards. It's less worries for the system, the institution in general, because they know everybody's behind the door. They know you're in your cell. And as long as they come around and feed you and shit like that, then you're good to go. And depending on how severe it is, they may let you shower, they may not. You know what I'm saying? My worst experience during hurricanes was when I was in prison, you know. When it comes to the juvenile, the county jail, or prison, prison was like the most struggle, and we'll get to that in a moment once I'm done talking about how it was in the county. Okay, now in the county, like I said, they just brought us our food. They didn't let us out of our cells that often, you know, but they kept the TV on. So like, if you was in a good enough cell to see the day room, like to see the TV, then you were good. But a lot of people really couldn't, you know what I'm saying? They weren't really that lenient though when it came to like, okay, like they'd pop your door and they'd let people shower, go back to their cell, you know, stuff like that. If you needed a drink of water when it was chow time, they'd let you out of your cell and you'd go down the stairs yourself, fill your cup up, go up there. You know, they let you come grab your shit and do everything yourself, but they did keep you locked in your room. You feel me? Which all you can really do is sleep those days, you know. No phone calls. You ain't calling your loved ones. You know, they stopped doing the mail. The mail wasn't coming. You know, they just said to hell with grabbing it and everything. So it kind of makes your time a little bit harder, you feel me? But at the end of the day, you know you're safe. You know you're protected. Your family on the streets, those are the ones that you got to really worry about. Because not only are you not out there with them, so you don't know if they're okay. You don't know if they're protected or anything, if they're, you know, set for the storm, but you can't communicate with them. So you can't check on them to see how it's going, to see if they're okay, to see what they're going through, you know, and then basically you're either going to get the thumbs up or the thumbs down when it comes time to getting on the phone, however long later, if it's 3 days, 4 days, 5, a week, when you finally go to get on the phone, it's going to take a couple days, because even people who don't get on the phone that often, on top of people who do get on all the time, everybody's going to be in line for the phone when it first opens back up. So if they don't let you get on for 4 days, now all of a sudden phones are up. You got 8 phones in there, you know, fucking 90 inmates, depending on how quickly you get in line, you know, and how many calls can go through until they lock down, take you off lockdown, open up again, now everyone can get on the phone again. You might not get on yourself for a day or 2 days later on top of the 3 days you missed to find out if your peoples are okay. And then that's when you're going to get the thumbs up or the thumbs down if everything went good or if something went bad. You feel me? That's what you can expect in the county jail. You know what I'm saying? Some jails might be more lenient. They might leave you to where your doors are not locked, but they're cracked until it's initially lockdown time. So during the day, you're not allowed to come out of your cell, but the door's cracked, it's not open. You see, they might do that depending on where you land at. You know what I'm saying? It's different in different places. You feel me? Now, that was worse than the program. To me, the program was a field trip. That right there sucked, you know, in the county when we were like that. Okay, now as far as being in prison, what they're going to do when you're in prison is they're going to take that shit to the extreme, okay? You are going to have people that get evacuated from one institution to another institution to hold them over during the storm. Like, for instance, when I was at Calhoun CI, they had DeSoto, all right? They had DeSoto come to Charlotte CI and put them in the whole nother dorm, mix them in with other inmates. You feel me? So it's kind of like how with the program you got moved there, but there was no other inmates because they moved them somewhere first. In prison, they're going to take all y'all and throw y'all in there with other people. Just like that. And then you're going to have to cope and, you know, fit in and adjust to how that institution is. You know, when DeSoto got moved to Charlotte, you had so many people at Charlotte that, you know, like want what they got. These are like new people. Even though they're in prison, they've been in prison, they're a whole nother institution. You know, they got shit we ain't got. You got people that are going to want to rob. You're going to got people that are going to want to try to extort you. So your best bet is to buddy up with somebody you came with. Like if your dorm, you know, from where you was first at, if you land at a new institution with people that you knew from your last camp, y'all are going to have to click up together. Even if you're in a gang, you're going to have brothers and shit like that. That'll give you more of the right to branch out and meet up with people and dap up and meet some of your brothers you never had. And if you ain't got nothing and they do, and you came there with open arms, they're going to give you shit to eat, you know. But if they ain't got nothing and you came there with stuff, they're going to want something that you got because that's your brother. See, like that. But if you're someone else that isn't a part of nothing, you could be a target because they're going to throw you in that jungle until that storm goes by. DeSoto was at Charlotte for about a month and a half. And then I was in confinement at the time. And when they would walk by the window, they'd be hollering at brothers of theirs that were in the box from window to window. So, you know, you hear and you observe everything. They didn't even know when they were going back to their camp. You feel me? And that's another thing. Eventually, I landed at DeSoto. DeSoto ended up being the camp that I EOS'd from, which means end of sentence, where I got released. You feel me? Which I'm going to be doing a video speaking on end of sentences, like letting y'all know what it's like, how it feels, what it really stands for, you know, shit like that. I'll be doing a video about that later on. But when I was at DeSoto, later on, past the hurricane and all this shit, months later, after I got transferred for Kfrogtv to DeSoto, there was a couple people in my dorm that got transferred to DeSoto from a storm, from a hurricane, that never left DeSoto. That literally they left them there as permanent. So when it comes time to you being transferred, you know, you might think, okay, well, this is my bunk. Do I take everything with me if we're just leaving, you know, temporarily? Now, if I take everything with me, I'm going to have more shit. More people are going to be on my trail. People might try to rob me. I'm going into an institution with fucking 5 years worth of stuff, you know, so I'm going to be a target. So do I leave stuff here till, you know, we come back? Some come back, some don't. So if you leave stuff, you might not get your shit no more. You lost everything that you left. Or you might be one of them people that do go back. You see, so it all depends. Sometimes they keep your ass there for good. And the few people that were at DeSoto that came from another camp during the hurricane, they were there. When I got there, they were telling me, man, I've been here for 9 months. They made this my permanent camp. They took everybody from the camp I was at back, but me and a couple handful of some other dudes left us here. Reprocessed us in the computer and left us here as a permanent. And here I had half a locker full of stuff at my other bed at another camp. You see, so it could change your whole thing of what you got going on when a storm comes. You feel me? You could be the fucking plug. You could be someone that has phones, Tunchi, dope, cigarettes, money. People can owe you stuff and they can move you somewhere temporarily, and that could be a permanent move. Later on, you don't know it. You see? So that's kind of crazy, and that's something you got to always remember. Me personally, due to the fact that I know you ain't guaranteed to go back to the bunk you was in before the storm came, I'm bringing all my shit with me regardless. I'm the type that'll take a risk, you feel me? Because if someone gonna try you and try to rob you, put down, or extort you, they gonna do it whether you have something or not. So me, I'm gonna go in there with my shit. This my stuff. And best believe in this shit that I'm carrying over here somewhere, whether it's in this bag or it's on me in person, best believe I got a knife. That's it. And then when it comes to being transferred, you know, you just either plexiglass or something made out of a kitchen tray. You feel me? So that way it don't go off through the metal detectors. You got to know these things. You got to know what type of shit you're getting yourself into and what type of people you're going around. You see what I'm saying? That's what to expect when it comes to hurricane season. If you're on the compound, they could evacuate you. No matter what you got going on, it's a dead stop, a dead freeze. You can have legal mail procedures in order to get an appeal, to go back to court, to appeal your sentence, to go home. You can have Vizzo. You can have people coming down there to see you. Whatever it is, there's going to be a dead stop when that storm comes. And then whatever they say is how it is, because at the end of the day, you are state property. You belong to the state. Now, when I was in confinement for the hurricane, I've told you this before in prior videos, the experience and shit that I went through in there. That was torture. Okay, they turned our water off and they didn't let us out of the cell, not even the shower, for like 5 days. And we ate peanut butter sandwiches and carrot coins. You know what I'm saying? And luckily for me, I had a radio. See, at certain institutions, they're so strict that they'll make sure you don't have no radios or MPs when you go to confinement. People try to smuggle them in and hand them off to like the confinement orderly or the trustee, whatever you want to call them, and try to get it snuck in, like, oh, boom, bring it in there, bro, and I'll break you off, I'll pay you, you know, however you can. But if they're a strict camp, they're going to try to make sure they're 100% by the books and there isn't nothing in there that shouldn't be in there. You feel me? That's how severe they'll be. Luckily for me, at this time, I was at Charlotte. I had an MP. My MP had the FM AM radio on it, so I was able to listen to what they were saying about the storm. And it was torture being back there because they were starving us. The lights were off for 4 days straight, you know what I'm saying? So even during the day, it was dark. You know, the window, we had mist coming in, which felt good, to be real with you, because it's always hot. But hearing on the radio that, oh, we're going to have up to 15-foot floods and all this different shit. I'm on the top tier like, damn, the bottom cell, they finna flood. If it's 15 feet tall, like, man, that bottom cell finna be underwater. You know, like hearing these different things and knowing how severe it was over the radio, and then looking out the windows where all the mist is coming and seeing that you can't see shit, just looks like white smoke from the wind and, you know, the rain and shit. It just sucked because they starved us. The guards didn't even want to walk in that shit, so they didn't even want to come around to where we was. You see what I'm saying? And that's when I did a video breaking it down to y'all before, that an inmate in there actually got taken by another inmate during the hurricane. People heard him screaming and shit, and I was yelling, oh, they in there bumping, the boys in there bumping. I heard kicking on the door and shit. I thought they was fading. Really, that boy was in there getting taken. And then after they cleaned the dorm and everything, like 5 days later, and the storm was gone. They opened up, turned all the lights on, brought all the orderlies who usually clean up to clean up, and started doing showers. Then that's when one of the dudes refused to cuff up, and he was scared to go back in the cell with him, and he mentioned that the dude took him, and that dude got put in outside court and got a new charge of taking that man. You see what I'm saying? That shit happened right across from my cell, like during the hurricane. You see what I'm saying? Like, the dude was like that tall who got taken, and the one who took him was like this. You never really know who they put in the room with you, or like what could possibly happen. You feel me? But I know that shit wasn't gonna happen to me. But what I'm saying is due to there being a hurricane, they didn't do their rounds and come around and check every hour like they're supposed to. They barely gave us food. You know what I'm saying? They literally had us ripping pages out of books to throw on top of our shit in the toilet. And then your bunkie will shit on top of the paper. And then cover it. And the next time you shit, you're shitting on top of his paper. And cover. That's like what it was. It was like so inhumane that I had to go through that. Like, I will never forget that. And then being in confinement, you already know you can't contact your peoples. You already know you ain't got no way to hit your loved ones up unless you have a jack, unless you have a phone. You feel me? So it's like so severe, and then there's not good reception or anything due to the storm. At this time, I didn't have a phone in confinement. Feel me? I got caught with a phone on the compound. You know, so like everything, the plays that I'm going to make in order, I got to be able to have shit up and running to get out there, to get a hold, to drop, pick up, get shit sent, you know, different things. So you don't know what to expect from your peoples. And then they stopped the mail, you know, and then I didn't get out of the box anytime soon after the hurricane, so all I had was letters still to find out the good or bad news. I found out bad and good. I found out one of my family members' doors got ripped off by the storm. They had to go stay at a hotel. Them with one of my kids and a dog, a dog they had, all had to go to a hotel. Like, different shit. Another one's whole backyard, all the trees and shit ripped out, fell over, took up the whole yard. You know, like, a lot of shit happened. It was a bad storm. You feel me? And they didn't transfer us or nothing. I felt like we were the least of their worries. Like, as far as, like, when something this serious came, the storm came, they cared, you know, any caring they had, they cared for the inmates that were on the compound, that were in general population, that were actually in dorms, that, you know, the only thing you'd see in the storm is an officer with a raincoat pulling or pushing a food cart because they brought the chow to, you know, the dorms. And at this time, they didn't want no inmates working in the kitchen, no inmates working in confinement, doing nothing. So the guards hated it because they literally had to do something. They literally had to go to the kitchen and make peanut butter sandwiches and put carrots in fucking bags, cut it up, and that's what they needed to do because they didn't have inmates working in the kitchen because of the storm. You know, they might be a security hazard. Oh, they might try to escape right now because of the storm or whatever it may be, or we don't need them getting hurt or the wind blowing them and then they fucking land against the gate and the fucking razor wire cut their arm off. Now we're getting sued. Like, you never know why they did it. You feel me? But they showed absolutely no care in the world for the inmates in confinement. Literally. Like, the people in the dorms got their food on time. You know? Us in confinement, they were coming around at like lunchtime, giving us breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Giving us 3 peanut butter sandwiches a piece and 3 bags of carrots a piece. You feel me? Like, to where it was to the point to where the fucking shit would seep through the bread, dog. You'd get the peanut butter bread, bro. When you pull it out of the little bag, it looked all oily and shit. It was seeping through. You feel me? Where you're peanut buttered out. You know what I'm saying? Choke sandwiches. You feel me? Fuck around and choke on that shit back there. Ain't got nothing to drink. Fucking sinks are off the water. You know, like, you gotta bird feed them shits and pick it, tear it apart, boy. Take a big bite into that shit if you want to. I've already had one try to take me out the game before, a choked sandwich. You feel me? So I already had experience when it came to fucking eating peanut butter sandwiches. You know, imagine not being able to do it with water. No water in the sink. You feel me? So you gotta, like, and you're starving back there, you feel me? Fucking stomach touching your back. You know, like, they showed us absolutely no care in the world. They did not care. They came around, gave us that shit, cleared it. We knew they didn't care when people were throwing shit from under their doors out there in the middle of the day room. Like, the way the cells were set up is you got bottom tier, top tier, and it goes around like an oval almost. You know? So people would like throw shit under their cell and it'd land down there. If you're on the top tier, it'd land down there. If you're on the bottom tier, it'd land out there in front of you. That shit was so, looked like a storm hit inside there. People flooding their cells, all types of shit. And they didn't care. They didn't care, the guards, because they don't give a damn what we're going through. You feel me? That was like the worst experience I've ever had during a hurricane. Like inside a prison. Straight up. Like, it had to straight up be like one of my roughest times in confinement. Out of all the confinement bids I did, that was like one of the most toughest and survival times, period. Because in confinement, you're not supposed to have canteen anyways. You know, so if you ain't got a good face card and you ain't got ties or pools and you ain't got no way to make shit happen, you'll be back there with no food. You'll be back there starving. You ain't got shit to eat. You feel me? Me, of course, you know, I had ways, you know, shit I did. You know what I'm saying? I had stuff brought in and stuff, you know. But you won't always have it like that. Even if you're a kingpin, when you first go to confinement, if they stop certain things, there's nothing you can do. If they ain't got orderlies working in confinement, there's no way for you to get shit from another dorm to your dorm. You feel me? So there's going to always be a time where no matter how high you are up there or who you know or how plugged in you are, there's always going to be a time where you got to survive. That survival switch going to kick in. You can't get shit right now. You know what I'm saying? And during that hurricane, boy, that was one of the times, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, damn, you know, I think about it like, yeah, I was protected back there from the storm. But if the storm really did something, who the hell's gonna know? They ain't even coming over here and checking on us, bro. Who's gonna know if I ain't in this bitch floating? You feel me? If I'm in that bitch backstroking, floating, hell, hey, man, this shit's filling up, hey. Like, who's gonna hear me? Nobody at all. There was no guards in our dorm. They're already, like, forget them. If anything happens, we'll just protect the ones that, you know, aren't in trouble. But the ones that got in trouble, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Let the current take them away. That's how I'm looking at it. Like, man, because our windows, you can't close the windows. It's got the holes. It's like the lines, and then it's a little pencil hole. So it's like, eventually, if that shit's going to go up to 15 feet, you know, that shit might go taller, I'm thinking. You know, like that shit start coming in here, then what? I can only have fun with it so long, like slip and slide, running back and forth and shit, having fun, dancing and shit, happy as hell that it ain't hot for once, but I can only do that for so long. Before you know it, this bitch gonna fill up and I'm gonna be back here screaming at the top of my lungs and ain't nobody gonna hear me. You see? That's what I was thinking. Like, man, my peoples ain't never gonna hear from me again. I'm gonna die in this bitch. I'm gonna drown in this room. Them holes, if that shit got tall enough to just cover the holes, it's over with. Yeah, it starts leaking in little by little, but if that bitch just happened to rise high enough to where, okay, them boys gone, no more frog. A fucking storm got him, only because he was stuck in a room. That's how bad it was when I was in prison, dog, with the hurricane, you feel me? And I felt like coming on here talking about this shit because we're in the middle of a hurricane right now down here in Florida. You know, they say it might drift and not hit us as bad, but we, you know, shit's crazy right now. Everybody's running out, buying up all the water, all the gas. People got generators, all the food, all the stores are fucking empty of stuff. Everybody's going crazy. And it's crazy to me because I got to take it seriously. You understand? I'm the adult now. So now I got to look at it like, okay, I got to prepare for this shit. I got to get ready. I got kids. I got to make sure this is barricaded. I got to make sure this is covered. I got to make sure this is tied down. This is bolted down. You know, there's certain things that I got to take care of now as an adult. Things that I didn't really care about when I was younger. You see? That's how you know when time's changing. That's how you know when you're fucking maturing. You see what I'm saying? And I just felt like since I ain't getting good reception, I ain't getting no damn internet, my power keeps going on and off. I'm like, man, they probably wonder where I've been at the last 4 days. So I figured I'd put this shit together. And while I got the juice, I said, fuck it. I'll put this video together and put it out there and tell y'all what I think about what I'm going through and to let y'all know the possibilities of what to expect while in prison when a hurricane comes. You feel me? If that shit's built to last, they might keep you there. But don't always expect to enjoy the lockdown, because 9 times out of 10, they are going to lock you down due to the storm. If they have it held open at all times and shit, and you're fucking loving it, then boy, you got lucky and you got spared, and that storm must have not have been that severe. It might have just had high winds and a little bit of rain, but it ain't one of the ones where it could shake the building, because they can't risk you being injured. So 9 times out of 10, they will have to lock you down. And if you're someone watching this video that was locked up during a hurricane and they did some shit and starved y'all like they did us, or if they fucking had you in there thinking you were finna die like I was, drop it in the comment section so people can know. Or if you're someone that had a good experience during a hurricane when you were locked up, drop it in there. It ain't even got to be a prison one. It could be an experience you had during a hurricane in your life. You know, you got some people that'll get floaties and shit and fucking go sit on a pool float going down the road, or people driving airboats and shit in the street now. You know, different, like, you got people that take that shit as fun until a tragic situation comes and really fucks some shit up, and then all of a sudden it ain't a joke no more. You feel me? But that's all I got for y'all today, man. If you're in Florida like I am, or if you're anywhere else where this hurricane may be hitting, or if you're in the middle of it right now as we speak, my prayers go out to you. I hope everybody's safe. I hope everybody makes it through the storm with no problems, no difficulties. Hope everybody's safe throughout the whole thing, you know. And yeah, man, y'all will just have to wait to see me on the next video. Like I said, y'all drop in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Drop y'all's input on the whole hurricane situation. I appreciate y'all watching. Like I always say, y'all make sure you keep them rats, squares, clowns, chomos, pedos, gunners, wannabe island boys, clout chasers, lying ass people on YouTube, people that fall off that was never actually on. You feel me? Keep them out your circle, man. And you already know, man, till next time, it's the one and only. I am my team, Frog.